Good afternoon, everyone. We are ready to get started. Very excited to have Doctor Who here himself. This is going to be set up as a Q&A format. I'll give him an opportunity to go ahead and start. Introduce yourself, and then we'll start taking some questions.
Right. Hello. Afternoon. Wakey, wakey! We got a show to do. My name is Sylvester McCoy, but I'm not the real McCoy. No. My real name is Percy James Patrick Kent-Smith. I didn't realize this until I was 11. Up to my name was Kent Smith. There's a lady stealing stuff here, look. Someone's just gone off with the computer. Where's the police? You never can find a policeman. There's one there. You can never find a policeman when you want one. Anyway, at the age of 11, I was told by the teacher to go home and find out if I had any other names apart from Kent Smith, which I was very fond of by 11 years. I went home and they told me my name was Percy James Patrick Kent-Smith. I lived in the Highlands of Scotland. I don't know if you know, but the Percys were a family of English in the north, Hotspur in Shakespeare's Henry V. They used to invade Scotland and rape and pillage. So they gave me a name of a rape and pillager, and I was only 11. So that was a bit of a worry. So I had to be silent and not let anyone know. A double-barreled name was also very posh. I wasn't posh, I lived in a room and kitchen, but it was a very posh name. And so if anyone in school found out that I had a double-barreled name, that was it. Beatings and beatings and beatings. So I kept that silent. So the problem with that is that since then, I've never been able to remember anyone's name. And I think it's because I've got too many of my own. And I was too frightened. Anyway, so I left Dunoon at the age of 18 and went to London looking for fame and fortune, and found it. But by accident. I was working in a box office in the Theatre in London, and an actor who's quite famous, George and Mildred, and very famous in Britain, his wife was an assistant administrator, and he used to come and collect the tickets I was selling. And we used to loon around, just have fun, really. Then one day a director came into him and said, "Hey, Brian, someone has let me down. I've got this wild show. Do you know any mad actors, young actors?" And he said, "Yeah, ask the guy in the box office. He's out of his head." And that's how I became an actor. I didn't go to drama school. I didn't do anything like that. And since then, I've been incredibly lucky because I always said yes for every job I ever got. Good job, I'm not a girl, but anyway, I always said yes to every job, and I've done everything. John Nathan Turner, the producer of Doctor Who, looked at my CV once, and he said, "You know, you've done everything in this business except ballet." I've done busking, I've been in grand opera, I've done Shakespeare, I've done low comedy, I've done high comedy, and I've done it all without training. I've been in musicals. I had a musical written for me at the National Theatre, which got me the job of Doctor Who, because the producer came along and saw it and went back later and said, "I've found my new Doctor." And that was me playing the Pied Piper at the National Theatre. So I've been kind of lucky, really. And I also feel that I didn't ask to come in. So I think, the business has given me a good living because they asked me to come in, So I said, "Okay, what's next?" And they said, "Go to Texas." And I said, "Okay." And here I am. So, any questions from anybody? Right, okay, bye. Anyway, if you want to, well, actually, I'll tell you what, put your hand up and I'll come and you can talk to me directly. And if I don't like the question, I'll just go on your head, okay? So it better be a good question. Right, come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy. I beg your pardon? What? Sorry?
So do you still work on any other shows, or are you retired? I was curious what you're doing now, or if you would ever want to get back into TV shows or doing any shows.
Yes, I'm still working. I'm still working. I've just recorded. I went to Hungary last November and met Rob Zombie. Do we know Rob Zombie? Well, I didn't know Rob Zombie. I had no idea who he was. And I phoned up my son and I said, this guy Rob Zombie's asked me to be in the Monsters film, which is coming out. And I said, and my son went, my God, Rob Zombie, you've got to do it, Dad. You've got to do it. And so therefore I went and looked at the videos of Rob Zombie, wow, it's all mad. Wonderful. Hello. Oh, I'm in the light. Anyway, so I thought I'd work with this monster, but it's like a Dalek. It's got a sort of thing, you know. Anyway, Rob Zombie, wild man. Are you watching something or watching me? All right, okay. Let's see if Sarah watches today. And so anyway, I go and meet Rob Zombie. I'm so excited I was going to meet this wild rocker, kind of coke sniffing, wild drinking, whoring, the whole thing, I hope they don't understand. Anyway, and so when I get there, it turns out Rob Zombie's a vegan. I was so disappointed. I wanted him to be wild. And he's the most gentle, lovely man. He was so peaceful and gentle in comparing his actual performance, which was brilliant. So anyway, that's the answer to that is I'm in the Monsters. A batty butler, because in the TV series there was a bat called Igor, and I play Igor. But so that's one job. Oh, question over here.
Was it scary working with the monsters?
Oh, good. Yes, it was scary working with the monsters. Yes, some of them were very scary. But the scariest one was the master. I don't know if you remember this one called Rival, because as an actor, he really believed he was the master. He was a method actor. And we had to fight. There was a fight. We were out in this it was the desert of Dorset. It was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Very rare in our country, but it was very warm. And I was wearing the Doctor Who costume, which this gentleman will stand up and show you what it looks like. And as you can see, it was a very warm costume. And it was a very warm day. And we were on a platform, and they had flames all around it. And the master was given a femur, a big bone, and he was supposed to hit me, fight me with it. But the thing is that in this story, everyone gets cat's eyes, contact lenses, because it's all about cats. And I didn't. They said, no, you don't need it. It won't happen. And then on the day they said, oh, no, you've got to have cat's eyes. So they gave me someone else's. And it had sand in it, so I couldn't see a thing. My eyes were watering. This man was beating the bejesus out of me, and I couldn't stop him because he was doing it for real. So he frightened the life out of me most of the time. Hello.
Did you get to choose your costume when you were on Doctor Who?
Well, yes and no. It was kind of a mixture, because when I went for the interview to see Jonathan Turner, I was wearing the hat. Stand up, please. Yes. Stand up. Yeah, come in. That was the hat. I was wearing. You can sit now. Thank you. So he was wearing the hat. I was wearing the hat. He's wearing a hat. But anyway, I was wearing the hat. It was a very sunny day, and again, an unusual thing in Britain. But I went to see the producer, and he said, "Oh, I like that hat. I'd like that to be in Doctor Who." And I said, "Well, I go with it," and that's how I got the job, really. So it started off with the hat. And then I wanted a baggy jacket, because I wanted paraphernalia, bits and bobs, and so they gave me that. The umbrella was my idea, because when I turned from Colin Baker, who I played, they put me in his costume. They lost me for 3 days. He's a fella. Anyway, he didn't turn up for the regeneration, so I had to be wig on me. I looked like Harpo Marx rather than that. And so I changed from him. And he had been blown up with an umbrella, but it was a golf umbrella, and it was too big. So I thought, I want to get my own. And so I invented that umbrella. That was but the wonderful BBC guys made it, but I invented it. So that's how I got the umbrella. The trousers were designed by the designer, costume designer. The pullover, stand up, please. Yeah. The pullover, that was the producer's idea. I think his granny knitted them. I mean, I thought it was overstated. I thought there were many question marks, but now I like it. But then I thought, this is overstated. And if we'd have done the fourth season, the jumper would have gone. But we never did the fourth season. So there we go. You want to ask a question?
Have you ever got along with the other doctors?
No, I hate every one of them. Especially Paul McGann, who took my job. No, actually, funny, Paul and I were friends before, which is great, because I knew him. And Colin, because Colin left under a cloud, he fell out for some reason. And so, but also I think at the beginning he was a bit resentful of me being the doctor, but now we're actually good friends, we take the mickey out of each other. I mean, especially, I don't know if you've seen the Five-ish Doctors reboot, any of you? Well, in it, we did, for the 50th anniversary, we got together and made our own little film with some of the top actors in Britain in it. Better billing, more star actors than the actual 50-year one there was. Anyway, in that, I keep telling Colin Baker, I'm in the Hobbit, And this really annoys him. But, yes. No, we do actually get on. We meet up, quite a few times over the years at conventions and stuff like that. Hello.
Did you get to keep some of your costume?
I'm not really supposed to. I have. What happened was that when it was finished, we got it at first to do personal appearances, things like that, opening and closing things, whatever, launching ships, who knows, I don't know. They gave me the costume. And then when they canceled the show, they forgot to ask for the costume back. And I forgot to back. So I had the costume and the umbrella and the hat and, things like that. And also, I got some paid over Cato first one. I've got those at home. Yeah. Yes. All right.
We blooper of your story. The worst case.
Oh yes, that used to happen quite regularly. Hello. It's not as good, this one, is it? So yes, that used to happen a lot in the what's the one about the big tall building, Paradise Towers. The actor who played the Hitler character, is a very funny, wonderful, wonderful man, and we just couldn't look at each other. We just fall about laughing. But there was also the one with the ice world. That was Dragonfire. Is that what it's called? Yes. And how the baddie guy in it, his face melted. Well, I knew him, and we couldn't make eye contact. I had to look up here, and he had to look down here. Otherwise, if we made eye contact, we just wept. And he was a nice person. I mean, not nice, ice person. So when he's, anyway. Yeah, it was lots of fun, really.
I haven't seen much Seventh Doctor episodes, so. Have you done any stunts? And if so, what was your favorite one?
Stunts, yes. I did a lot of stunts. That was we had a stunt man in it who used to get very frustrated at me because I wanted to do my own stunts. And one of them was the one, because you haven't seen the show, so if I got to do the whole show for you so you'd understand it, we'll be here for hours. Look, you should have researched that question. Go quickly and read, and come back. Anyway, there's one where there's the Daleks. It's the Daleks one, and we're in this school up high, and the Dalek spaceship lands in the playground. And I suggested that what they should do is get a rope, and somehow we get the rope onto the Dalek spaceship, and then I get into the spaceship and create mayhem. And so they did that, and then I said, and then I can hang on my umbrella. Could you show them the umbrella, please? because he's never seen Doctor Who. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I hung on the umbrella and came down from the 3 or 4 stories high, hanging on this umbrella, woo, all the way down onto the spaceship roof. And what happened then was that they insisted that I didn't do that bit of it because they thought it was too dangerous. And when I wasn't there, tipping, my understudy, did it. But then when it got to the bit where I was supposed to land and then climb into the machine, into this, they put me on a big scaffolding square. I was up at the top, and then the cameraman said, okay, you move back a bit. So I was moving back, and I was with the umbrella on the rope. Now, tipping had a harness when he came down, but I didn't have a harness. And so they moved me, and I got further back. It was like I was on the edge here, and I was leaning right out like this with no harness or anything. And I thought, this is more dangerous. And then I had to, land, and I did. I obviously I did because I'm here. I presume. Yes. Right. Okay. Away over there. It's much more. Oh, hello. Are you leaving? You want to go to the toilet? You have permission. You don't have to. It's not an insult. You don't have to. Oh, there you are. Coming through. You thought you were going to be comfortable, but you're not. Get out of the way. Hello.
What was your favorite role, whether it be Doctor Who or a movie? And if it was a show, what episode? What was your favorite?
Well, it's difficult, really. I mean, I'm always asked that question, what's my favorite role? I've done many roles. I suppose the very first one where I got the name of Sylvester McCoy was a very favorite role. It was quite mad and insane, and I got my name from it because I used to do all these stunts. I used to, bang nails up my nose. That was a poor man's sword swallowing. Because we decided we were going to do a stunts show, so we got a book, How to Swallow a Sword. And don't listen to this, children. Don't do this at home. You're not allowed to. Good. In order to swallow a sword, you've got to train your throat to take the sword. The muscles kind of make you gag. So you get a sponge and a bit of string, and you put it down, up and down until it gets used to it, and then that's it. You can start sword swallowing. But we had a booking in 2 weeks, and it takes a month or 2 months to learn it or to train your body. So we turned the next page, and it said, the poor man's sword swallowing, bang a nail up your nose. So we started with that. I used to bang a nail up my nose. I used to put ferrets down my trousers to try and break the world record. I used to explode bombs in my chest. I used to set light to my head. I blew fire. I did escapology. I did all of these stunts in that show. And it was wild and mad, and I was young, and we were, we toured all over Germany and France and Sweden and Denmark, and we went to Israel, and that was an interesting one, because our company was called the Ken Campbell Roadshow, so that's what we were. So the Ken Campbell Roadshow got invited to Israel, and it was for a music festival. Well, we did silly songs, but we were not musical anyway. We arrived, and the first night we played Tel Aviv in a theater, and the audience were like, their jaws hit their chest. They were like, 500 people going. They'd never seen anything like it. And we discovered there was a bit of a mix-up because they had meant to invite the Glenn Campbell Roadshow. And they got us, the Ken Campbell Roadshow, doing really mad things rather than the time I get to Phoenix will be, all that kind of stuff. That's what they were expecting. And I was banging nails up my nose and setting light to my head. And we used to take the audience out of the theater, and I'd explode a bomb in my chest. I mean, I was exploding bombs in my chest in Israel. This is crazy. But I lived. I got through. Oh, hello, we've had one, but anyway.
Do you still have your costume still?
Bits of it, yeah, bits of it, but you can't have it. It's mine. Anyway, you can nick your dad. Is that your dad? Yeah, so you can have his. Yeah.
In the movie, you had this sonic screwdriver for a few minutes. Did you have this sonic screwdriver in any of the episodes prior to the movie?
No. Could I borrow it for a second? No, I had no, because the producer. And I think rightfully so, he said he decided not to have sonic screwdrivers in my season because the sonic screwdriver made it too easy for the writers to get the out of problem, just go in your way. So he wanted them to think up something more imaginative, which I thought was great. But then when I did the film, they gave it to me, and of course, I never having had one before, I pointed the sonic screwdriver. I think the master was in a box or something, and I pointed it the wrong way. So in fact, when I pressed it, I zipped myself. Really, in real life, because it's true, isn't it, old Doctor Who? Yeah, good. Anyway, I failed miserably as a sonic screwdriver driver, sadly. But I had my umbrella. I like my umbrella. There was a person way up the back. They're always up the back, don't they? Keep me fit. This keeps me fit. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, giggly. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you like cucumbers or corn better?
Do I like what? Corn better?
Cucumbers or corn?
Cucumbers or corn? Cucumbers I like better, because they go very well with gin, but you don't want to know about that.
Speaking of the movie, were you kind of disappointed that your run as the Doctor kind of ended by parking in a bad part of town and just getting shot, or instead of
Well, it didn't kill me, the shooting. It was the operation. Well, it didn't. It's not. Yeah, America. Yes, it was. Yes, I didn't have insurance because I came as an alien from another planet. No, it was. I didn't die. It was regenerate. I'm still here. Only I'm there. I'm now a woman for a little while, anyway.
What was your favorite episode to film, or what was the funniest situation that you ended up in?
Right, that's two questions. Well, I suppose my favorite in a way was the one with the Daleks, because I didn't really feel I was true Doctor until I'd taken on the Daleks. And when they gave me the script, in it, they had me with bazookas blowing up Daleks. And my philosophy when I got Doctor Who was that my doctor, being an alien, would use his brain rather than his brawn, and that was to me very important. And I also thought that was a very good lesson, because we have lots of children watch Doctor Who, here in Britain as well, and it was that kind of thing of not celebrating violence, although entertainment needs violence. So they gave me a bazooka. I said, no, I'm not going to use a bazooka, but Ace can. So she had all the fun, actually, of blowing people up, and I didn't. But that was the thing. So Ace got all that fun, really. So, but then, as a revenge, the last bit where I destroy a Dalek at the very end of it, it said in the script I had the bazooka, and I said, no, I don't do that. And then, so the writer went away, and in his revenge, he wrote me a very long speech. I had to talk the Dalek to death. So I had to learn the lines. Oh, yes, what was the other question? Funny. Oh, yes, sorry. Keep it there. I'll be back. I'll be back. Anyway, yes, we were in the desert. This is another desert one. It was Survival. That's what it was called. I don't know if you've seen it. But in Survival, I don't know if you've seen the outtakes. There's one bit where I suddenly telling people what to do, and in the heat and everything. Saying, go here, go there. We had to do it again. Get 3, take 5, and then we eventually got it. But I didn't stop. So what I did was I took my hat off, and I jumped on my hat. I took my coat off, and I took that. I was just carrying on, and then I dived into the sand. But the sand was like concrete. And then I killed myself. But it was sand. I didn't know it was going to be hard. Anyway, it was kind of funny.
Were there any part of any of your roles that you disliked?
Yes, there were. I once played, it was based on a true story about this guy who kidnapped a young lady from an office, and took her and kept her in a wheelie bin. I don't know, do you have wheelie bins? Where you got them? He chained her up and kept her in a wheelie bin, and it was all about that. It was kind of weird. And I played him. This guy's still alive. He's in prison. And when I played him, I found it really horrible to do. I had to do some horrible things. And it was really, and I really wanted to take a shower after some of the scenes I did. And when I come off the set, I'd immediately try and make people laugh. And that was my kind of shower, really, to take this horrible thing away. But at the same time, it was really nice to play a villain, you know. But there are different ways of playing the villain. I mean, I've played villains where it's more theatrical villain, if you know what I mean. It's more, whereas this was a real, so you had to be real. And that was even nastier than being, you know, kind of take out a gun and shoot people, which was, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Oh, another. There's someone down here.
When you were told that you were going to become the Doctor, did they leave it up to you to decide what version of the Doctor you would be, or you had to follow what the producer and director told you?
No, in a way, we didn't have to follow. What happened by then, the producer was getting a bit fed up being the producer of Doctor Who. He was moving back away from it. He wanted to do something else. I mean, he still supported us, but he kind of just said, here's the key to the TARDIS, get on with it, in a way. As luck would have it, the script editor was Canadian, and he didn't know much about Doctor Who either. And I had lost touch with Doctor Who in England, because I was working a lot in the theatre, and it was all on television, and it was never repeated. It was always out on a Saturday, and that was it, never seen again. So I kind of had a distant memory of Doctor Who. So we both arrived without any baggage. And I arrived with the comedy baggage, because that's, you know, you might find it surprising, but that's what I do, really. And so, well, you could laugh better at that joke, couldn't you? Anyway, I arrived with and so it was kind of slightly comedic, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin is kind of character. But then, as I read and suddenly realized what I'd been handed, one of the great television roles. It's a bit like, you know, there's in Hamlet's one of the great acting roles, you know, and this was the Hamlet of television, really, in a way. Also, you get compared to all the other doctors as well. And so I realized that you could do anything with this guy. You could take him anywhere. And so suddenly I wanted to make him darker and bring back the mystery, because by then there was no mystery about the Doctor, whereas the very first Doctor was completely mysterious. So we tried to create that and bring it all back. And that was the journey we went on. But I mean, being that thing of being popular, you know, with doctors and other doctors. I met this fan. Well, I was the seventh Doctor. I met this fan. He was so excited to meet Doctor Who. He had a bag full of stuff for me to sign. He was shaking in his camera. It was a film camera. You know, it was shaking. I hope they had fast film in it. And he was so excited. Oh my goodness, this is lovely. I love being doctored. I love Doctor Who. I absolutely love it. And you're my fifth favorite. Do you want me to sign more of this? Okay. At least I wasn't the seventh. But I mean, anyway, that was... Oh, hello. Hello. Coming through.
What was your favorite line to say as being the Doctor?
My favorite line? Well, actually, I suppose in a way, it was, I used to love shouting, Ace! Sorry, did I wake you up? I'm so sorry. I mean, it was a good line because it's only one word. It was easy to remember. But I think that was my favorite in a way. Yep.
I'm a huge Hobbit fan. Radagast didn't have much material in the books to work with. How did you develop his character, and how did you come up with the concept of the bird and everything?
Oh, well, the bird was Peter Jackson's idea. He came up with that, and as you say, when I got the part, I thought, oh, great. So I ran home and reread the book. I'd read it to my sons when they were young, and realized that I wasn't in it. And I thought, I'd just been given a part, and I'm not in it. So, yeah, I know, yes. So, but anyway, it turned out he gave me a lot more to do in it, which was great, really. So, yeah, the birds, that and the poo, he said to me once, he said, with a ruder word, he said, I've always wanted to cover an actor in poo. So I was the one he chose. Then, it was just, in a way, when I got into the costume and put it all on, and, I started filming the bit in the house, trying to bring the hedgehog back to life. And he'd just say, do this, try this, do that, and I'd do it and improvise. And that's how it started, really. I remember when I was doing that scene with the hedgehog, I thought, this is brilliant. I'm in this amazing film. It's going to be seen all over the world. And there's no other actors. There's just me and a stuffed hedgehog. And this is brilliant. Wait till my family see me. I'll be so excited. Just me all this time. I'm loving it. So we cut to the first, the world premiere. My sons fly over with me to New Zealand. We go and see it in the cinema, and I'm sitting there. Oh, this is the bit. It's coming. This is my scene. This is me. And then the Wizards of Weta had got hold of the hedgehog, and they turned it into this sad little creature. And it was all sweet, and everybody was looking at the creature. No one was looking at me. I was upstaged by a bleeping hedgehog. I wish I'd killed the thing. Not really. I mean, I don't really, but oh, yes, no one else. I'm glad you came.
What do you think of the new Doctor?
Well, you're talking about Jodie, the lady? Because there is a new Doctor coming, but we're not quite sure who he is. Lots of rumors. Oh, yes. Yes. I've forgotten her name as well. Yeah. Both of them. Oh, Joe, yeah. She's great. I've met Jodie and Joe off screen, but both of them are really lovely, great fun people. Had a good laugh with them. I thought Jodie was great. I mean, I really did. I guess my one major criticism is that she used the sonic screwdriver far too much. Kind of just every time she did it, she whipped out a sonic screwdriver.
Like my science teacher.
Does she? Oh, well, that's good. I mean, maybe it is your science teacher. She's a time traveler. She could be anywhere. You never know. She could be. Yes. The problem is I didn't see a lot of the season because of work commitments and being out of the country.
Hello. What Shakespearean role did you enjoy playing the most?
Well, I played most of the Shakespearean fools. I suppose, in a way, I have to say the one in King Lear, the fool in King Lear. When I played the other fools, there was comedy in As You Like It, or the Prospero, that one, I've got my Shakespeare's gone out of my head. Jet Lag, Tempest, and various other things. I've played quite a lot of them. Midsummer Night's Dream, I played Puck. I did Puck actually in the opera, Benjamin Britten's opera, Midsummer Night's Dream, which is a beautiful opera. And Bottom was played by a world-famous Welsh bass, Garand Evans, Sir Garand Evans. Now, Sir Garand Evans was a real Welshman, you see. He'd been a miner and come up and with this amazing voice. He didn't have a sense of humor. And one day we were working together, and you know how opera singers specialize in roles, necessarily. They just do those roles for most of their singing life. Well, he was saying, to me, he said, I've done very well out of my Lear, King Lear. And I said, oh, that's nice. He said, yes, but I've made a fortune out of my Bottom. And I started to laugh. But he wasn't joking. I mean, I could see in his eyes that went, oh, really? That's really interesting. I mean, kind of. So, yeah. So how did I get there? What was that question again? Oh, Shakespeare. Yes, but King Lear I enjoyed immensely, really, because I've watched quite a lot of King Lears, and the fool is generally played by an actor, and therefore it becomes a dramatic role rather than a role of a fool. You don't see the foolish part of the fool when you watch King Lear normally. They're just kind of straight down the middle because it's a very tragic part. But I thought when I was offered it, I'm going to make it, get the comedy into it. And I did. I'm very proud of that. It's out on DVD somewhere, Ian McKellen's King Lear. It's not as good as the stage show because film of that is never quite as good. But I got the comedy in because once Trevor Nunn, the director, came in and he said, I've seen so many Lears over the year, and so many Lears and fools over the year. He said, I've never had one get so many laughs, but also kept the tragedy. And that as an actor was the great juggling thing of people, trying to make them weep and laugh at the same time. Yeah, so the hand was up. There. Oh, there we are. Sorry to discombobulate your knees. Could you move them? Thank you.
Out of all the doctors,
And all the doctors in every place, we have to meet you.
excluding yourself, which one is your favorite?
Oh, right. Oh, I'm glad you excluded me because I would have said me. No, I'm not. Well, but Patrick Troughton was the first doctor I saw. He's always your first doctors. You kind of carry them with you. They become your favorite. But Christopher Eccleston, I thought when he came back, I liked him a lot. I also liked the fact he was raw, down to earth, kind of, because lots of white, kind of middle-aged, no, well, not middle-aged, white posh doctors, I mean, I was kind of a bit like that, only I was Scottish. But so it kind of gave it a bit of a rougher edge. Rather, I say, jolly good, let's blow up the TARDIS, kind of acting. So, yeah, I liked him. Yeah, good. So, and there's a hand over here. Sorry, just a little person. Oops, sorry. Hello.
What's your favorite companion?
That's a dangerous question. Because I've had, I suppose, two companions. Bonnie Langford was my first companion, and Sophie Aldred is Ace. Bonnie is Mel, my second companion. We are still great friends. We still work together because we do audio dramas of Doctor Who, and we meet up. So if I picked one, I'd be in big, big trouble. You don't know what it would be like. So I can't answer your question. Otherwise, I'd be in very big trouble.
Oh, I was going to ask you if you actually brought spoons today.
Oh gosh, yes, I did. There's the thing. Yes, I did. Oops, sorry, I tripped over someone there. Yes, I did. I brought spoons. Here they are. This is my musical case. Now, the problem is, I'll try and play them. I can't really play them with the microphone. If someone would like to volunteer to come up and hold the microphone, right. Keep them near the spoons. Okay. Right. I'll just tune up. Children. Thank you. Thank you. I've actually played spoons with the London Concert Orchestra at the Barbican Hall, which is a very big concert in London. It was a special children's concert, and it was the Teddy Bear's Picnic was one of the musical pieces. And there was 1,000 or 2,000. It's a very big hall, but you're only allowed in. Nobody was allowed in unless they had a teddy bear. Everybody had a teddy bear, adults and children. And at one point, I was conducting the children. The teddy bears, actually. I looked out and 1,000 teddy bears dancing. When you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise. I was in for a big surprise, 1,000 of them. It was magical. But it's one of the magical moments that always stay with you. Just seeing all these teddy bears bouncing. So, anyway, who has not? You haven't asked one. I'll come back to you in a minute.
Hi.
Hello.
How long have I to wait to get the next doctor?
Oh, well, I mean, it depends if you've got insurance. It's very difficult to get a doctor nowadays. I mean, because of COVID, you have to queue up. It's a joke. National Health Service, can't see a doctor. You now have to do it on Zoom. How long? Well, I wouldn't think very long. They're actually recording in Cardiff secretly a new Doctor Who. Well, I think Jodie's one finishes maybe in October. I'm not sure really. Or maybe, no, it's Christmas. This Christmas, is it? Yes, I think it's this Christmas. I think that might be her last one. Maybe after that you'll find out who the new Doctor is.
Why do you think Doctor Who has lasted as long as it has?
Well, yes, I think there are about 5 or 7 stories under the sun. And mankind's genius is to take those stories and retell them in all sorts of different ways. And one of the great stories is someone coming from outside the world, down, taking on the form of a human being, being humble, but fighting evil. Religions are still part of that story. Superman, Doctor Who is the same. It's just one of the stories we love. And there's many other kind of ones of aliens coming, people coming from outside the world, coming down and fighting evil and doing it in a very humble way. Yes, except for Tom Baker. He couldn't do anything in a humble way, you know what I mean? Although he's brilliant, I love him.
In Doctor Who is your favorite villain?
Favorite villain? That's a contradiction in terms. If you don't like it, don't.
Huh?
Sorry, is that's it? That's the question? Have you got more?
Can I ask you a joke, though?
Yeah.
What happens if Shakespeare and Bigfoot fell in love? What would it be called?
I don't know. What happens if Shakespeare and Bigfoot fell in love? What would it be called?
It would be called Romeo and Juliet.
Juliet. Hang around and they'll get it, Yeti, eventually. Thank you. Yes, knock, knock. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor. Yeah, but he wasn't the doctor. I am the doctor. Somebody down here put the hand up. Or did I see a hand? Oh, no. Oh, there you are.
So I'm kind of curious. You were nearly blown up several times on Doctor Who, but in your entire work, what's the closest you've ever been to actually being blown up by the pyrotechnics team?
Oh, that happened quite a lot. I don't think they like me very much. No, they used to try. Where was it? There was somewhere. I remember. Oh yes, I know where it was. It was at the end of Survival. I think. No, it wasn't Survival. The Gods of Ragnarok. Which one is that they were in? The Greatest Showcase in the Galaxy. Yeah, it was in the end of, and we were filming out again in the desert of Dorset. It was lovely sunny days, and they had built a tent, and I had to walk past the tent because at the end I had defeated the Gods of Ragnarok, and I looked into the tent, and there were these kind of metal. What do you call it? Metal, gunmetal. Yeah, it was some gunmetal shaped things. And I said, "What is that going to out there?" And they said, "Oh no, don't worry. It's not going to be explosives. It's going to be the detritus of the Gods of Ragnarok. You know, all paper, everything would be blown out. A great wind would blow this out as you walk past, and that would indicate that you'd won." So, but then, unbeknown to me, the great wind machine never arrived, so they improvised. So what they did was they put a whole lot of gunpowder and stuff in it. And as I walked past, the Second World War started right behind my back. I mean, the whole thing exploded. And it was the last shot. We couldn't do it again. It was the last shot of the day. It was the last, we were moving on to the different thing. So I had to keep going. I couldn't go, "Oh my goodness, what was that?" And I walked on and tried not to blink, not knowing whether my clothes were on fire because the heat, I thought. And anyway, that was a very close thing. But I managed not to lose it, and we managed to film that one. 5, 4. He said 5, you said 4. Because a minute, for instance, I read it. Okay, I got 4 minutes. Any more questions? Oh, yes, coming your way. Hello.
Hello. Did they ever tell you the doctor's first name?
No. Doctor's first name. That thing ring a bell. Okay, well, let me know when it comes back. Senior moment. Well, I get them all the time. Well, I am senior. Right. Oh, lovely little lady who knows lots of questions.
What did you think of the Weeping Angel?
Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness gracious me! I thought they were very scary. When I was in Sweden, you know, in the winter, it's dark. I'd just been in an English bookshop signing and doing stuff and that, and I walked out into the night, and there was this church steeple, right, and on the top of it was a statue of an angel, and the light was shining on it, and it looked like the weeping angel. So I went, and I came out, and I just kept going, trying not to blink, and I walked into the middle of the street and nearly got run down. It nearly killed me.
Who did the Weeping Angel, and it was like supposed to be like ballerinas or something, who anytime when you blinked, they would like to try to go like real fast when you blinked.
All right. When I thought when you blinked, if you blinked, they were dead. Wasn't you? I'm not. I mean, I think so. Is that the story? But yeah. Yes, I met that weeping angel. Have you remembered? All right. Have I been here before? Oh yes. I think I've been here before.
I know there have been crossover series before, and there have been multiple doctors. Have they ever asked you, other than the 50th, to reprise the role?
No, not on television, no. But I would do it on Big Finish. But I think, sadly, it's time for me to become no longer a Time Lord, but to keep time and leave. Nice to meet you all. Thank you very much for coming. It was great. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.